Sarasota has been a special place in my heart since 1982. I was drafted by the Atlanta Braves. I was 17 years old and landed in the Sarasota Bradenton Airport. Went to Pirate City, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, so I never really knew this part of the planet existed. Never really been to Florida. I don't know if I have ever had been to Florida. I don't believe I had. And fell in love with it. And then Shelly, when we were dating, my wife Shelly, we were dating, and her grandparents had a place here, and so we came down all the time. I'm a big boater, and I love the islands. I love, I think it's the ultimate boating experience. You have Casey Key, Siesta Key, Lido Key, Lombo Key, and now we're really experiencing the St. Pete area too, so we just love it here. I've been a water person since I was 5 years old. My dad had a Sea Ray, and I was actually captain of a boat when I was 6. And my job was to clean it. And I was driving boats and figuring it all out as far back as I remember. So I've always loved water. I became a fisherman, really hardcore fisherman when I went to Gainesville, Florida. We'd go to Key West, and that's the best fishing in the world. And there's nothing like fishing, especially when you're with like your we have a 6-year-old now, and I take him fishing at least twice a year, and there's not a better day than that. Or I'm taking my son out too. Well, the greatest thing that I had exposed to me at early on was there was always God in our life. There was always a higher being. There was always a standard, and I'm very grateful that my mom and dad did that. And Shelly grew up in the church as well, so that was always a huge part of it. I'm Catholic, she's a non-denominational Christian, so we both go to both church. My son happens to be very Catholic. My 2 daughters are not, but they're very Christian and they're very strong. So I think as long as that's the moral compass, which has always been in our family, that we've been very fortunate. Our kids they're not perfect, but they've had a nice run, and we've enjoyed 99.999% of the time with them. Well, I'm with Fox Big Noon Kickoff. I love that. That's a big part of my life in the fall. 15 weeks. My family makes fun of me when I say it's work, because it's not. It's not work at all. I feel guilty sometimes we get paid to do it. Don't tell my boss that, but we love it. After 38 years of, extremely intense win-lose mentality every second. And people think that, I remember when Shelly first told people that I coach, she says, well, they asked her, what does he do during the week? Everybody thought you coached on Saturdays, and then also, what's he do in the off season? And what's happened, what people don't realize is coaching at the level that I coached for a long time, I never really took a day off. There was never a day that I put my phone down and said, today's off. I never did that, because I was horrified that something would happen and we'd lose that stinger, we'd lose that, something that made us great. I was worried we'd lose it. I don't know if I ever stepped into this shoe. I was always worried, I guess I've had friends, we've had that conversation easily hundreds of times, because I could never take the foot off the accelerator. I was always worried about, losing or about the program slipping. So to say that I was comfortable in my shoes, I'd say never. There was never a time where I said, we got this handled. Never felt that way, because coaching a team and coaching 18 to 22-year-olds, it's very fluid. Which way is the wind blowing? Because things could change like that, and it had. We were, cruising along, all of a sudden, boom, a speed bump. Someone makes a mistake, and what in the world just happened? And you go from top of the mountain to not the top very quickly. You can see it every day. So, very competitive world we lived in, and we still live in a competitive world, but not that world. I'm probably not the greatest person to have that, because balance wasn't really good with me. I'd like to look back and say that I gave it our best, and our kids turned out very. And Shelley's the king of that, queen of that. But I was there, and I worked really hard at it. But to say balance, I think the biggest thing you have to ask yourself is, what do you want to achieve? If you know, my son just got out of coaching, and we're fine with it. He did not. You know, I had this vision of someday winning a national championship after I got going, and to do that, there's only one every year. And you have to sacrifice a lot to do that. Ask yourself and make sure you're willing to do that. Make sure that your partner, your wife, your spouse, or your husband, or whatever it may be, make sure that that person's willing to go on that journey with you. Because I've seen a lot of families get destroyed because, you know, I've used to ask, I said, did you not have this conversation before you got married, or before, you know, your husband's a doctor? He's on call. I've seen him. So don't you have to, in your job and Shelley's job, everybody's got important jobs. You have to make sure that you're a team, or don't do it. And there's a lot of stuff out there other than beating your face against the wall for 38 years. You know, don't do it. And I used to tell our players that the same thing, and coaches, that, man, there's a lot of other places much easier than this. Go play. That does not make you a bad person. Go. We'll help you go there. You know, you don't have to get up as early. You don't have to stay up as late. You don't have to work as hard. But if you do, this is the Navy SEALs of college football, and this is what we expect. You know, something that's really, my leadership consultant, Tim Kite, and I, we would have many conversations, and I think this is really important for the world we live in now, is that genetics shape you. You don't pick your parents. You don't pick you don't pick to say, I want to be 6'10" like LeBron James and run like, God touched him on the shoulder and said, yeah, I'm going to give you this. Some other people aren't as fortunate. They're in wheelchairs, and you don't. It certainly influences. I mean, genetics shape you. Circumstances influence you. So I've seen people come from really tough situations. They didn't pick them. So it certainly influences you, but it doesn't define you. What defines you are what you do, your decisions you make. My dad used to ask me, he'd go like this. I still remember very clearly. He'd say, I have a question for you. It's a very simple question, but it's a complicated answer. He goes, I don't care how strong you are, I don't care how smart you are, I don't care how fast you are, how tall. He goes, the only thing I'm going to ask you is, are you the hardest working person in your classroom? And yes, sir, yes, I am. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not. And so one of the great moments of my life is when, I'll never forget, in high school, he asked me, and I said, yeah, and I'm very proud to say, I really am now. That's a great moment when you say, I am. Everything I've been telling you for 12 years, maybe not telling the complete truth, now I am. And he used to do the same thing in coaching. He'd always ask me, say, are you the hardest working coach out there? And I was like, sure. And I'm thinking, maybe I'm not.
But if you believe it,
well,
can achieve it, sort of.
You have to, or once again, you don't have to be.
Yeah.
You don't. There's a nice life out there. I'm finding it right now. Am I the hardest working guy on the planet right now? No way.
Yeah.
I'm not. You know why? Because I don't want to be.
Yeah.
I want to go see my grandkids. I want to go take Shelley at the St. Pete and on the boat, and we've worked hard to enjoy these next years.
Yeah.
Yes, we love it here. We love the vibrant downtown. Spectacular in the last 10 years. It's changed dramatically. We love the village. I'm a member at a couple golf courses out here, work out. But we also have decided this is it. We're not moving. So we wanted to get very involved in the community. And so we have not said no. We've been to many different charitable events, from Make-A-Wish to the Child Protection Agency to she's in the anti-human trafficking. I'll let her talk about that in a minute. And the Wright Foundation, the Peyton Wright Foundation event, Dick Vitale's event, we've been to many times. So the answer is, if we're here, the answer is yes. We've been with you to the circus event, and it's nonstop, and we love it.
It's been great. I've been to a Moffitt Center fundraiser, which was great, and because Urban's mother died of breast cancer, and his dad had bladder cancer, and my mom had breast cancer, and we have our own foundation in Columbus, Ohio called the Urban and Shelley Meyer Fund for Cancer Research. So we're very involved in raising funds for cancer, the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer and all that. But then the most, I would have to say I hate to pick a favorite, but I have to pick a favorite because I've gotten very involved in C'est La Freedom, the anti-human trafficking cause here in Sarasota, but also in Columbus, Ohio. Because we partnered with the Tim Tebow Foundation to open a Her Song. So it's C'est La Freedom here, it's Her Song in Jacksonville and Columbus. And I'm in Ohio a lot because I have 3 grandchildren there and I go back a lot. So when I go back there, I go to that house and hang with those ladies. And then when I'm down here, I come and hang with these ladies and do things with them. So that's my special new thing lately that's really rewarding. I think it relates really, really great to my background as a psychiatric nurse for over 30 years. It just partners so well with it. And but we've been so fortunate to be involved in so many things, and we love that you invited us to that circus thing because we've never had a circus thing, and you've already been, so that was great. I mean, this is kind of a joke, but kind of not. So you tell it.
The old shoe?
Yeah, the old shoe.
Yeah, it's when you're married to 34 years and you're married for that long, it becomes like an old shoe. It fits really well. You know where it is normally.
You don't get blisters.
Yeah, it fits just right. It doesn't, it's expensive, but not that expensive.
Not as expensive as a new shoe you'd be.
When you get a new shoe, you just don't know if it's going to fit. Sometimes you get blisters or your feet get sore and you're usually outrageously expensive. Sometimes it looks pretty, but you just,
It's a good metaphor.
I wanted to end it on the fact that your mother came to this country to build the dream for you guys, which I know my parents were immigrants as well, and so many people come from, a lot of us are 3rd generations or 4th generations of families that came here for a dream. And as you look outside and you look at the whole city, you fulfilled that dream for her through your family, through your children, and that is a legacy in and of itself, I think. So.
That was a great story. I remember telling you guys that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They were in Germany after going through repression, a war, and they chased the dream of palm trees and blue skies and blue ocean. I got to New York City. It wasn't that.
No palm trees.
Oh, you bet.